Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Schwab Mob, here with a brand new concept. Mostly inspired by literally every YouTuber ever. Yes, we're doing podcasts.
Sorry,
And
have we
with.
started? I wasn't paying attention.
Yes, we just started.
This is a good
Here,
introduction.
here with me is.
Roll intro music. Not that we have intro music, but this is
Yeah.
where it would come in because we've instantly fucked up.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. Hi.
Alright. With me are two guests that will be
Introduce
pretty
yourself
much.
first.
Oh,
Go on, Sexy.
I mean, I already did my intro.
Did you?
Yeah, I did my
You can tell I
intro at the
wasn't paying
start.
attention, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about awesome guests. That'll be me. I'm pretty cool. Yeah.
AKA, AKA Blue Hairy
I
Bro, one of my
yeah.
admins of the channel.
Yeah, that's me. I'm pretty cool most
We
of the
haven't
time.
we haven't officially done any videos together, but he's helped me out a couple times with a couple of fucked videos.
I've
Like
existed. I'm a
the
man that has
Dungeon
existed.
Siege 3 episode where it
Yeah,
just crashed on me. He did the editing for me.
even though that's a game I've literally never played and know literally nothing about. It was like, oh, he wants me to do things. Okay, I guess I'll
Yeah,
do
I
it.
just needed you
Um,
to splice those together.
yeah, so I did that. That was fine. I've done some also. I think I mentioned this last in the end one too. I've done some minor editing projects,
Yeah.
specifically VOBs for the Happy Hob, who got a 2 week suspension. Funnily enough.
Oh shit.
Yes, he did. He's currently banned from Twitch.
Huh.
Other streaming platforms are available. He's been banned on Twitch because he jumped on his chair, started unbuckling his belt, and told a viewer to suck his dick, and he got banned for 2 weeks. So,
Well, okay then.
yeah.
It sounds exactly like something Hob would do.
Yeah, but to my understanding, he said that it wasn't to do with him unbuckling his groin. It was the reference to whore because it's to do with sexual
Yeah,
stuff
I
that
guess
was
that's
no
fair.
against TOS. But yeah, I've
Um,
done some minor projects, so I generally video edit
yep.
and talk shit on the internet. Um,
We had an
what's up?
unofficial podcast a while back that we were testing things out. So we'll probably reference the lost recording, as I'll call it.
Yeah, there was one or two things we touched on which were interesting enough, but not a massive amount
Yeah.
of stuff.
A lot of it was just waffle.
Yeah, I have a bunch of things, a couple of small points that I would like to talk about specifically. But just things here and there, nothing I want to really dabble on.
If anyone's curious where the other guest star is, he's AFK at the moment. He'll be back when he can get back.
Yeah, he's taking a piss, to be
Yep.
honest. And you know what? He can do that. Who am I to stop a fellow man having a piss?
So
Um,
let's see. Let's start with gaming news, and I'll go ahead and start with what I started with last time on the failed record or the lost episode,
yes.
which was Dragon Quest XI
I'm glad you didn't need me
Definitive
to do
Edition.
any participation into there because I had no fucking clue what we were talking about. Yeah, Dragon Quest XI. That's a game.
Fucking
On Switch, I believe.
amazing. Switch, PlayStation 4, probably PS5 via backwards compatibility, and Xbox Series
Yes.
X as well because it's on Xbox One for Game Pass.
Nice, nice.
I've run through basically the entire story mode, and I'm actually in the end game content added with the definitive edition. And I gotta say
That's pretty good. That's
that
pretty
part of the
good.
game is bullshit.
Okay.
It gets to the point where I'm fighting well, okay. As you progress in the game, you fight like the same enemies, reskins as normal Dragon Quest games do, but in this one they
Right.
literally would, when you got so far in the story, you would see malicious type of enemy, and it's just a strong, better stats version of the same thing. So like malicious slime is still a
Yes.
slime. It's literally the
Yes.
blue classic slime with just more
Okay.
HP. And in that, and in the in the definitive edition content, you have stuff like you have to fight malicious version of the bosses,
Okay, so just get good.
and these bosses love to
I'll say it.
spam status ailments.
Get good. I'll say it. I'll call it. Get good.
Fair enough.
Just don't get hit. Just kill him. Just one-shot him. Come on, dude. What's wrong with you?
I'm at a point where there's one boss fight I can do where I have to fight everyone from a point in the story where you enter a tournament. I'm not going to spoil it because eventually I'm going to let's play that
Well,
game.
you just spoiled it. You just said there was a tournament.
There's a tournament. Something happens in the tournament. You fight a bunch
Someone
of
will die in the
contestants.
tournament. Spoilers. I made that up. It might not happen.
Yeah, no one dies in the tournament. It's
Well, see,
kinda
they
cool.
spoiled that no one does die in the tournament, so people know that there's no risk there.
And yeah, you have to fight them all while they're super buffed by a boss, and then right after that fight with all, because there's like 5 contestants you fight all at once,
Okay.
and you get one AI companion who's pretty shit, and then your party of 4 at a time. He's pretty
Okay.
shit at this point because he's still trying to heal you with fucking strong medicine, which does basically nothing when you have 500 some HP.
Okay.
And right after you fight those 5 contestants, you are immediately faced with the boss fight of that whole region.
Mm-hmm.
Also buffed, and he likes to spam moves that paralyze you, poison you, and you're probably out of mana at this point. Let's be real.
Okay.
And unlike most Dragon Quest games, when you get party wiped, or if you're playing with the challenge mode of if your player character wipes, you lose.
Yeah.
Well, the game it's over. You have to reload a save. You don't respawn at the church.
Okay.
So that means you have to rerun through that whole region of enemies, go fight
Yeah,
those guys
yeah.
again, and then
So-
fight the boss again.
In the age-old words of people better than me,
Get
get
good.
good. Probably. Yeah. Probably just a lot of grinding for shit, to be
yeah.
honest. And yeah, I'm not
not exactly the
RPG
most
man for that.
efficient person in that game either, but hey. I
Yeah.
just want to talk about how bullshit that kind of fighting is. It's one thing to
Yeah.
have a boss come back, it's another thing for him to now spam status ailments and potentially one-shot parties.
It's the way the RPGs always tend to get at that
Yeah.
sort of late stage, to be honest. A lot of
Oh,
these
yeah.
kinds of RPGs sort of fall into that sort of
Yeah, I was
it's
noticing
the
that
thing that you have, but he's Shadow, and he's stronger than your version. I'm like, okay, why? We were bored. Okay, cool. We needed to reskin one of the 6 models we had for an enemy, so we could pretend it was interesting.
Yep.
Okay, cool. It's very standard RPG shenanigans. So I'm not surprised it turns up
Yeah,
there.
speaking of shadows, that reminds me of that bullshit moment in Dragon Age Origins when you're going to get the Urn of Sacred Ashes and you
Sure,
fight
yeah.
the ghost version of your party.
Yeah.
And it's like, why am I fighting ghosts? Why am I fighting Ghost Alistair? Why am I fighting
It's me,
ghost versions
but
of me?
Dead.
It's my party, but they're actually min-maxed.
Big.
That was my
No.
that was my first run in that fucking dungeon. It sucked. So I was playing a
I
rogue.
can imagine.
I was playing a rogue. I wasn't very well set up with it because I was doing 1 strength, 1 dex, and I think whatever the other dex or the other rogue one, cunning.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
it would be like I'd add +1 cunning, +1 strength, +1 dex every level
Yeah.
for my rogue. So I was very inefficient.
Yeah.
My whole party was pretty much fucked.
RPGs are one of those games where
The
I
first
don't
couple
excuse the losers that wake up.
couple playthroughs, you learn how to play it at least somewhat efficiently.
yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a thing that I know a lot of RPGs do.
Yep.
I'm not big.
Nowadays,
massive
I
fan
know
of it.
that I need.
I know a lot
that,
of RPGs nowadays actually have tools that just optimize your build for you.
Yep.
You just say, "Oh, put my points into whatever," and it'll put them into what is best for your class.
Yep.
While not the finest example of modern day RPGs, Yix does that, or Yikes, or whatever you want to call it, which was the postmodernist RPG. which wasn't very postmodernist, by the way, but you could see where they had the ideas for brilliance. They just couldn't actually do it. They lacked the
Yeah, I think
talent
I get it.
to be able to do it. Um, and it's a weird game. It's worth watching. I think the Snake Row has a video or something on it where he does a deep dive into the entire game and his takes and opinions on all of it, but specifically why he thinks it's actually not that bad a game because he can see the moments of brilliance in it. And I can agree with that. Sometimes the potential in something is better than the actual game
Oh
itself.
yeah, Duke 'em forever.
Nah, well, no, because the problem with that, unironically, is there was literally zero potential in the Duke Nukem universe,
Well,
apart from people on Twitter pretending to be Duke Nukem. There's
well,
literally
wasn't
no
there also
value in
the issue
games.
of that game was in dev hell for like 10+ years,
Yeah.
and
So
then
it actually has no potential, you know.
yeah,
But a game that has some moments of glory, we were like, oh, you know what? That was actually a really good idea. It's shame that you're shit. You can't do it.
one game I would say that classifies as that is Bulletstorm.
I
That
mean,
game
Bulletstorm was
actually
good.
was
People
pretty
liked it
good.
though.
Yeah, it just didn't sell
Yeah.
well enough to get a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I never actually ended
Games
up
like
playing it
that to
myself,
me,
but it looked like it was a pretty fun game. I mean,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's of that
aside
era
from
of sort
the
of like
guys dodging your sniper shots, that I didn't really
that's
understand.
cool.
It was
Just
cool,
get
but
good
it was
shooting
weird.
again. No, it's one of those games. Like the reason they do that is so you can use your sniper time to move the bullet and hit them again.
Yeah, I get that.
No, I really liked it. It was a good game, but it's of that era of shooters where when you play it, you hadn't played anything modern or of it like
Yeah,
nowadays we would consider very good FPS games. So it was of its era that you played it and you're like, man, that's a good game. Or maybe you even thought, man, this is shit. And then 10 years later, you're like, man, that was a decent game. I really liked that game. And then you go back to play it and it plays like a 2009 game. You know
yep.
what I mean? It plays exactly like a game of that era and it's just shit. You're like, I remember playing Haze with my dad when I was younger, and it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. You know, I tried to play fucking Haze again. I was like, holy shit, this game is fucking trash. You wonder why? It's because one, maybe it was nostalgia, pink glasses, younger. Also, it's a fucking like 2005 game, dude. It's like plays like
Yeah.
it. It's bad. And so a lot of those kinds of games have that. A lot of these old games don't have staying power. Games like Quake, like even Modern Warfare, the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, these kind of games, they stand out because sure they're of their time, but they are definitive classics of their time. They defined
Yeah.
that era.
And sometimes the story is also worth the hassle of the campaign.
For sure. Haze isn't one of those. Haze was dated when it was released, and it doesn't hold up well now. COD Modern Warfare still plays alright. It has those rough around the edges. You can tell it's old and you can tell it's dated. It still has
Yeah.
those like moments of glory. And then there's some older games that are just definitively of their time, where they will always be bad / dated / sort of shit. But the reason they are of that is because they're of their era. Metal Gear Solid, these kinds of games come to mind. Resident Evil. They're old, they're dated. They literally have no kind of semblance of real game design, specifically Resident Evil in this one.
Yeah.
But they were of their era specifically that they defined not only a genre but an entire successful billion-dollar company. You know.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Yek, it's a modern RPG that lets the game just do your stats for you. Back to that point, and also it has potential that it doesn't fulfill. On potential, Sucha is a game I've been playing recently. It is a art game. It's an early access as of currently, and it is available on Steam, which you can wish list it to purchase when it's released. It has two parts: Such Art, the story game, and Such Art Creative Studio. Creative Studio is free on Steam and can be played for free now. It is a really good art game. Not really good as in like, man, I'm gonna go paint the Mona Lisa and be the next fucking Michelangelo, but it is a very fun game. I have made lots of pieces of art that I'm very proud of. And I have had a whale of a time. It is legitimately great fun. I suggested it to a couple of friends. They played it. They loved it too. One of them was actually starstruck. They were able to speak to such a game dev on their Discord. Apparently, I have a Discord. I'm not part of it. It is a very fun game. The way it handles paint is really interesting. So you put paint on a canvas. It's wet, right? You can't undo paint, so there's no Control Z if you fuck up. But it stays wet on the canvas. So if you take like a paintbrush, it's dry, has no paint on it. You dip it in, like you start using it on that canvas, it'll smear the paint on the brush, and it'll paint it on the canvas. It's really well done. And you've got a whole bunch of different brushes and tools and canvases and stuff. And a bunch of like commission systems where people will ask you to draw something or paint something, and you can then sell that to them. If you were looking for a professional drawing software, you won't find it in such a. If you were looking for a semi-casual joke art game, Sucho is there, but it has a lot of potential as a not just art game. And so it does a really good job of filling that niche, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, I just zoned out for a second there. I was looking
Sure.
on Discord at something.
I talked about art.
Yeah, I was kind of like paying attention, and then
Yeah.
I was checking something out of curiosity.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Fair enough.
I like
fair
it. When it fully releases, I actually think I will buy it. It is one of those games that's good enough to purchase.
Fair
It's
enough.
just, unfortunately, sort of stuck in its
Little dev
in the
hell.
fact that it might not release in time for its full hype to be caught onto. I think a lot of Twitch streamers and people might actually pick it up once it releases for real. But Germa985 has already played it and enjoyed it. I don't know if he'll go back and play the story mode, you know? Because he had his fun on the Creative Studio. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
It actually has a lot more staying power for me than Passepartout, the Starving Artist, which was another one of these sort of digital art games. But it was essentially Paint in a different framing. And not a very good version of Paint at that. Where you essentially drew dicks for 20 minutes until you made enough money to pretend you were successful. And at that point, the game had run out of interest for me, and I stopped playing. I'm sure there were people that absolutely loved Passepartout, the Starving Artist, but I thought it was trash, and I didn't play it ever again. But Such Art has tools and things in it that entertain me and are fun enough that I will continue to play. And its paintings and arts, its paint way, like the way the paint and canvases work, are interesting enough that they are different enough from paint for me to play with. Anyone can draw and paint if you have enough time and talent, but Such Art, you pick up the brush, you have paints, it sort of makes sense. Everything sort of clicks.
Yeah.
Whether they have the talent to do it or not doesn't really matter. It sort of makes itself happen.
Yeah. I get that.
I've had a lot of fun just opening up my full creative desire, just saying, okay, I'm just gonna paint something. I'm just not even gonna think. I'm not gonna brainstorm. I'm just gonna. Here's a canvas. I'm just gonna paint something. I wonder what I feel like today. Most of them ended up being brains, not just like some kind of brain, and some kind of symbolic stuff around it.
Okay.
But it was just stuff like it just fucking. It was just shit, right? It was just brain stuff.
Yeah.
But most of it was just, this is what I'm going to draw. I'm just going to draw something and what will happen. This is how I feel today. And it was cool. And that's something I never got from Passepartout, the Starving Artist. I never felt like I could draw something I wanted to draw. I was just drawing things for the sake of it. And none of those really stood out to me. None of them screams, this is something I wanted. You also don't have to sell your art and such art. You can put it on the wall. So if I paint something I'm like, man, this was really cool. I can pick it up and put it on the wall, and it'll stay there.
That's cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Speaking of like games where it's like you're kind of just sitting there waiting for your money to build up, that kind of reminds me of how I was when I was trying out Crusader Kings 2.
Yeah, Crusader Kings 2. What a game, huh?
I only
Yeah,
played
what
the
a
base
game.
game, so I don't have all the beautiful DLC like fucking the Form Your Family one that allows you to do incest shit and whatnot or whatever.
Yeah,
So I know everyone's memed the hell out of that.
um, I paid for and bought Crusader Kings 2 and some of its DLCs. I then piloted the other £200 worth because what the fuck, guys, are you doing? I know, it's a Paradox game, which means it's buggy, unfinished, barely playable, and also has 200 quid
Uh,
worth of DLC. But it is fun. I can see why
yeah,
people like it.
it has some fun moments even with the base game, and I think I had like a
Yeah,
DLC leader or something. I don't remember. I'd have to
yeah.
look on
My
Steam.
my opinion of Crusader Kings is there are a lot of people that are really, really proud of them going, look, I made the HRV on hardcore mode and I got an achievement on Steam. And as much as that's cool, no women around you are getting wet. You say that and they get drier than a camel,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
No one is impressed. They just think you're stupid. But for people that play Crusader Kings, they think you're cool. But I never found Crusader Kings or Heroes of the Storm, uh, Hearts of Iron, or any
Hearts
of
of
these kinds
Iron,
of game, none of these
Stellaris,
kinds of game
Age of
really
Wonders.
stood out to me as games I really wanted to paint the map blue win. I didn't really ever want to
Yeah.
play them to take over the world. I didn't care enough. I wasn't having fun. I think Crusader Kings 2 stands out as one of these better games of those because actually it's not really about taking over the world or
It's
doing
about
anything
farming your
actually
own
useful
empire,
or cheat.
really.
Yeah, well, or even forming an empire. It's not even about achieving any of these. What it's really about is having your weird, stupid, dumbass leader, and in his story. Your
Yeah.
90-year-old old-ass man who has herpes and can't walk um, sacrificed his daughter to the Satan cult last week, and now he's invulnerable. And they're like, what? It's the stories you write with the character you
Yeah.
have until he dies. And then you
And then
move on to
his
the next
children
one, and you make a story with them.
and
And
so
then what
on,
you
yeah.
end up having is a 40-year-old man who died, should have died 2 years ago, but he's invulnerable because he's a death cult he's in. Goes and is finally murdered by his an assassin, by his sworn enemy, which happens to be his daughter who assassinated him. And then you become the daughter, and now do the daughter have to fight off your sisters and brothers because they want to kill you now? And you're just like, but they don't know you killed your dad. It's just like, it's just bullshit, right? It's all the
Yeah.
fun writing you get of characters and the debuffs and all these sort of positive stuff, like, oh, your character is paralyzed, or he's got dysentery, all these sort of bullshit. It's what you make with the character after. And I probably have upset the one person that still plays Crusader Kings, so oh well.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I like Crusader Kings. It's just one of those games I could never really get into. I wasn't a
Let's
big
see.
fan.
Yeah, I didn't really understand Crusader Kings 2. I didn't really succeed at the tutorial. And
The
I kind of
tutorial is
just
actually
decided.
great. You literally can't complete the tutorial. It's not possible to beat it.
Yeah, I tried to fund an army, and then all of my neighbors decided to declare war on me. So I was like, well, fuck, I can't build an
Yeah,
army.
literally the tutorial makes you do things that make you lose.
Yeah.
It's not possible to win the tutorial if you follow it.
The only
The
thing I
best way
ended
to
up
learn
doing is
is
I
to
just
have someone
hired
that
a
knows
bunch
how
of
to
mercs.
play. Yeah, the best way to play is to have a friend that knows how to play Crusader Kings, and you be one of his vassals of his actual empire. And that way you still have a very Crusader Kingsy experience, but just without all the actual hassle of winning the game. Um, However, the issue with that is Crusader Kings 2 is old and buggy as fuck. It isn't supported anymore, and it barely has any things. So anytime
Yeah.
you enter a game or go into a menu, its netcode will or the game state will corrupt, which means you can no longer join online games until you restart the game. Which is why you'll see people that actually like Crusader Kings quitting and restarting their CK all the time because it's got fucking dumb bugs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I have a kind of similar, well, not really similar, but I have an issue with Stellaris on PC that's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Where it's instead of that, it's And anyone that has played Stellaris on Steam might know this issue, where the Paradox launcher doesn't always want to launch.
Yeah, Paradox should have. Like, it's weird that Paradox makes it some software and it's still incompetent. You know?
Like, Stellaris is an amazing game, but it takes me like as many as 10 tries to get that fucking game running.
Yeah. No, I don't know how they like. They clearly have passion and like ability to make things. It's just so bizarre to me how they managed to take it up in some way.
I,
Um,
I, I don't know. Although I did see an interesting article a while back that kind of explains why, like, Paradox strategy games work better than other strategy games. Well, not like work better, but like why they seem to be more enjoyable. And part of it is, yeah,
sure.
building your own story. And it's because the AI isn't designed to win. It's not
No,
designed
it's
to
just designed
rush
to do its own
for
thing.
victory. It's yeah,
Yeah.
like Stellaris, for example. If they're just a pacifist empire, very rarely will they ever change and drop being pacifists. They'll just continue
Yeah.
being pacifists. They'll be a fucking agrarian society, grow food, do whatever the fuck.
Yeah. No, I
Whereas you have
know.
something like a fanatical purifier who wants to cleanse the entire galaxy of everything. Obviously, he's going to try and kill you all.
Yeah.
But that's in his playstyle. That's his code.
Yeah. No, um, they they own like if you play on historical, they will try to as act like perfectly as possible try and replicate historical actions. It
Like
gets a bit fucky when you start being unhistorical. So at Hoy, they start to sort of
they
struggle.
they try to stay in character, but they can't do it
It's
perfectly.
difficult
Sort of
because they
deal.
don't have a historical, well, a particularly historical route for a non-historical action.
Yeah,
So if the UK does go fascist, it doesn't really have a plan for that. You can sort of predict the outcomes. You know that you will probably align with the Axis. You will join their coalition if offered, and then you still go to war with the Allies, but now you're at war with France. Um, or if Spain goes communist instead of, uh, you know, the
yeah,
regular. These kind of things. There has variables in it for when those things happen, especially with the DLCs. But
that
some of
is
them
really
it
cool.
just isn't able to handle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give. It is kind of more enjoyable to play a game of like Age of Wonders sometimes than Civ because, yeah, the
Yeah.
AI isn't trying to just win. It is sometimes refreshing to play a game and chill.
Yeah.
Like, just this weekend, because this is being recorded on Valentine's Day
Lol.
of 2021, to put this in perspective.
Lol.
Um, just this weekend, I started a game of Civ with a buddy, and it's going okay. I'm playing on Emperor difficulty, and I've only ever played like Settler.
Uh huh.
And so all of the AI, he's playing Korea, I'm playing Arabia, and we have the Mongols there. We have
Mm-hmm.
Spain. We have Babylon. Um, trying to think who else, and then Gandhi.
Nice.
Because there's like six enemy civs. We're in a team together, so we're sharing research. We're making trades when we need to and whatnot. I've got a fucking Mongolia is to my south. To my very east is Gandhi and Spain, right next to each other. And yeah, I know Mongolia is gonna betray me at some point, and we both have a fucking Maginot line of soldiers on our border. Like
That's the way to do it.
for my American viewers, you might not know what the Maginot line is.
What do you mean
Basically,
they might not know what the Maginot Line is?
we don't learn about it in
Like
our histories.
you fucking
It's
what?
yeah.
You
American
guys fucking
history is
savages.
literally
I'm just
just
gonna call it
basically
now.
American history.
Yeah, you
Like
guys suck.
all we ever learn is American history,
Maginot
basically.
Line was the French defense on the eastern border to Germany, which is what tried
Lot,
to stop them when they invaded World War One,
huge
World War Two
line
even.
of bunkers, turrets, and shit like that.
Yeah.
It,
Issue is obviously it didn't work because they just went through the Maginot Line by going past it.
yep.
By invading, what was it, fucking Belgium or some bullshit?
Yeah, they went through Belgium, I believe.
Yeah. Which was a neutral country, which is why it was a
So
bad
easy.
thing to do because it's what actually made the UK join the war.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Quick,
speaking of that,
quick
of the context of like France and them losing both world wars, you know what actually made the whole France surrendering thing popular?
Yeah, well, we beat them so many times in the 100-Year War, but yeah.
Well, you guys were beating them for a while, and then they got a 17-year-old girl to lead them. Then things kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah, we let them win.
And then you guys burned her at the stake. Or
We
or
let,
no, was it
we
was
let
it
them
you
win.
guys or was it the
The French burnt their own person. That wasn't
yeah, it
us.
was the Burgundians or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't do that. They did that.
It was your like
Yeah.
the French supporters of the British or whatever. But apparently that whole story came about. The they always surrender is actually from The Simpsons. It's a Willie quote
Yeah.
apparently. Willie's
No,
in.
there's historically they have surrendered multiple times.
Well, yeah, but the two big ones are
But it
World
was
War One
cheese
and
eating
Two.
surrender monkeys specifically.
Yeah, it was that
Um,
line specifically. I remember.
but they have been one to known to surrender.
Yeah, which is weird to think. Ooh, excuse me. It's
Yeah.
weird to think just 300 years ago they were a world superpower,
Yeah. Well, I
rivals
mean,
to England and Spain.
yeah. I mean, they surrendered multiple times in World War Two. Not the whole country
Oh,
capitulating, but they surrendered multiple times. Different parts of they surrendered Paris
oh
because they
yeah.
didn't want the fucking Eiffel Tower bombed.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't
So
blame them there. It's a very
I
beautiful
can
landmark.
losers.
One of my
Don't come
favorite
at me.
one of my favorite things of World War II is the fucking French resistance. I just love to make the joke that the French civilians made more of a fucking effort in the war than the French army.
I guess.
I know it's not entirely accurate, but I just love making that joke.
Yeah.
The French
We
resistance.
we did a lot
Oh,
for
that reminds
the
me.
French.
Oh, what game was it? I used to play this a lot. Let me look at my list on Xbox. Um, uh, there was a game I played where when you got to like the World War eras, they actually taught. Oh, I remember. It was Tropico 5.
Oh, sure.
When you get to the World War eras, you can either you have your two embassies for the Allies and the Axis,
Yeah.
and as you help the Allies, occasionally one of your advisors, I forget his name, I think it's the British dude, who is like your governor at the beginning of the game if you start as a colony. Yeah, it's something like that. He'll be like, as you help the Allies, you'll hear like him say like, the Allies and the French resistance thanks you,
Yeah.
or he says just like the resistance thanks you, and it's like okay, I wonder what resistance they could be talking about.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's actually funny because you can end the whole World Wars era without actually choosing a side by playing both of them. Like you,
Yeah. Yeah. The
like
thing
you,
is you never tell both sides you're playing them.
yeah.
Yeah.
One kind of cool thing about that game is just building up a massive army and then declaring war on one of them, just
Yeah.
to get it over with.
It's the way to do it.
I remember at one point I built. I was playing a game in multiplayer with a friend, and I got really bored and annoyed, so I started building massive military buildings.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to build like the normal bases, so I'm fucking building the star forts that give me fucking colonial militia with muskets, and then upgrading them to,
Yeah.
proper riflemen. But that's it. They're just
Nice.
riflemen from like World War One.
Yeah.
And I would just build like a bunch of these, and my buddy's like, "I hope you're not about to declare war on me.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you declare war on me." And then one game, the game bugged on me, where
Yeah.
it was like I was still acting like I was under attack, so I couldn't repair my buildings. And eventually, we went to war, and I had no military because I couldn't train units because I couldn't rebuild my fucking structures.
Yeah.
And so it was just my fucking um, the death squad from the palace, and I think my rangers, and that was the only defense I had against fucking tanks and shit.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
That game would definitely be more fun if I could be more of a fucking dictator and not have to worry about the people's fucking popularity. When I think of a dictator, I don't think of building fucking 5 billion cafes so they're happy.
No. But if it works, it works.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Um,
And yeah, there's some hilarious things in that game, especially at the very beginning when you're in the colonial era.
yeah.
Like, occasionally, because at that point you're trying to win your independence either through war or through approval with your king.
Yeah.
And you get these random random declarations from the king, like he wants to build an underwater palace for himself, and he requires blit resources. And then when you give the resources, you find out, oh yeah, he drowned, he died. You won't get any more messages from us or any
Nice.
more requests from the homeland. Or like he wants to build the biggest bonfire in the world, and then he dies. He dies in the fire. It's
Good.
like half of it's because obviously it's so you can't just stay in the colonial era forever, where it's super easy to keep
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
approval. But it's like, wow, fucking hell. There's like 50. There's like, I'd say there's at least like 5 different ways the king dies, or he'll just be like chill. It's like six
Yeah.
different options of how he stops making requests, and one of them is literally he just, okay, he's happy. You guys do whatever. And then it's
Yeah.
like 5 different deaths he can have. It's like, what the hell?
Well, they were desperate.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Other good games. I know I talked about Gears a little bit in the Lost episode,
yeah.
and I was telling you how the Gears franchise went downhill after like 3. Well, okay, story wise, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something after losing Dom in 3 didn't really feel Gears of War y to me. And I don't know if it's because, first 3 Gears 1, 2, and 3, it's Marcus and Dom always. It's not like Marcus and Baird or Marcus and Cole, it's Marcus and Dom doing shit together.
Yeah.
And then Dom dying. I don't know if it's related to that or if it's because Gears 4 is kind of bleh comparatively.
Yeah.
I mean, now fans, I'm not saying Gears 4 is a bad game. I'm just saying there are some really shitty levels in that game.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
the other guest star who I'm assuming is still AFK or he's forgotten he's muted. I hope it's that he's AFK.
yeah, he's been a while. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
he's usually gone a while, but
Yeah.
as he could attest if he was here, we we got halfway through Gears 5, and then all of a sudden in the mines there's like 50 fucking snatchers. And I was out of ammo. I had like maybe 2 reloads of a bolt hawk and 1 full reload of an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Or of the Lancer Custom Mark 2, Mark 3, I forget which one it is in Gears 4. It's a good gun.
Yeah.
It's actually the best Lancer there ever was. It's got like a laser sight, it's got a flashlight on it. I mean, the flashlight only
Fair
comes
enough.
in when it's dark and whatnot, but it's actually really cool. Um, and then Gears 5 is an okay game.
Yeah.
For being one of the
But-
few three-man co-op campaigns in existence, it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a pretty fun game. They also recently just came out with the Hive Bust. Well, not recently as of this recording, but I
Yeah.
recently discovered they came out with a second campaign for Gears 5 with the Hive Buster crew.
Oh.
Yeah, the Lonnie, Mac, and whatever the fuck the other guy's name is, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know how that campaign goes, because as of this recording, I am working with my buddy Largo, Texas, who is our other guest star,
Mm-hmm.
and is, he likes to keep his YouTube channel private, so, but, we're playing Gears 5 again, but we have, and I remember telling you this in text chat, but we're playing it with
Yeah.
Big Head mode, Batista playing Marcus, which is actually really interestingly good. I mean, I know he's an
Yeah.
actor and a wrestler, but he's it's not as good as Marcus. Don't get me wrong, but he is good, and it's kind of a nice change to have someone else play Marcus.
Yeah.
Um, we recently swapped over to him hosting, see if that helps the lag issue we were having, and it kind of is. He added low gravity, so the bits and pieces of enemies are fucking floating. We have a mutator on where when we get a perfect reload, we actually get our ammo back,
Yeah.
or we get ammo, so it's actually way easier. And we have New Game Plus on, so his jack has all of the upgrades, and it has the ultimate upgrades unlocked from basically the beginning
Yeah.
of the game. I say basically, but you have to finish basically the prologue bits up until
Yeah.
you get actual Jack, because you start with Dave, who isn't as good as Jack and gets damaged.
Yeah.
And yeah, that
Yeah.
campaign's really fun, especially with those modifiers on. We also have one where instead of the normal Gears gun sound effects, it's people doing gun effects with their vocals.
Lol.
So like instead of hearing that Lancer chainsaw rev up, it's a guy going brrrr,
Yeah. 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 No, it reminds
or
me of the Lobos sound effects mod for Dark Souls, which is he has done every single sound effect in the entire game with
oh,
his
that's
own
beautiful.
vocals.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That is actually pretty cool. I gotta admit.
He actually puts a lot of effort though into making them sound like how they should, but with his own voice. It's very good.
Yeah, and like Gears 5, you'll hear like instead of hearing that beautiful bang of the Lancer, you hear just yeah, basically, and it just adds a whole level of comedy to the game, and it's just way more enjoyable, I think.
Yeah.
It would definitely have ruined Gears 5 if I'd played with those modifiers if they had existed first.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But,
can imagine.
oh yeah, in the Big Head mode, it's the funniest shit ever because in cutscenes, anyone that's in your group, so your squad, is affected, except Jack. Sadly, Jack is unaffected by Big Head. But in cutscenes, everyone else is normal sized. So you've got like JD who's got like a fucking 5 foot sized head,
Yeah.
and you have like First Minister Jin with her normal sized body and head. And it just it's bizarre, but it just makes it beautiful, and it totally fucks with like when there's any like touching involved with the characters,
Yeah.
because you see the hand go through the fucking head model or whatnot.
Yeah.
It it just adds to the comedy and can kind of break some scenes like a certain character dies. I'm not going to say who, kind of early-ish in the game. He was a pretty cool character from Gears 4. Most people probably know who I'm talking about. Considering they teased his fucking status throughout the whole campaign. And then right after the credits, you find out he lived. Yeah, sorry. That guy doesn't
Wow,
make
okay,
it.
double. That's actually like a real spoiler.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, this game's been out for like 3 years now, I think.
Fair enough.
I'm more worried about spoiling games like Dragon Quest XI, which only just came out literally at the end of last year. At least the version I'm playing.
Yeah.
I also just recently re-downloaded the Master Chief Collection.
Nice, nice.
Which is the first time I've touched Halo since that original Xbox stopped working.
Cool.
With its disc tray, and forgot how good Halo 1 was.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a good game, and it feels weird on modern console controllers.
Yeah, they mess with the control scheme a little, and not
Well, I mean,
necessarily for
like,
the
I
bad.
can use left bumper and up on the D-pad to turn the flashlight on.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense to me. Right bumper is melee, which I can't remember what it was on the original controller. Nah, B was crouch on the original, I'm pretty sure. No, I bet it was click the stick or something. Like click right stick.
It was click the stick for crouch before, and it was B. Like,
oh yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm thinking
B was melee. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like I think it's Halo Reach's controls.
One of them
really
has like that
it?
funky southpaw thing, which is odd.
Yeah,
but
they have that as default, which is weird.
One of them is definitely a B button, but B button.
Yeah, it's the first
melee.
one. I remember the first one. It's B button because I was playing on the original Xbox sometime like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And
no,
good game. Halo 2, okay game. Don't really like it as much as Halo 1. Halo 3.
I really like the Halo 2 on Master Chief Collection. I think it's great.
Halo 3, I've played a little bit as a kid when it came out.
Yeah.
But my cousin never told me what the fuck was going on in Halo 3, so it was kind of bleh to me.
Yeah.
Halo 4, I've completed like 5 times. Halo Reach, I've completed like 10 times easily.
Yeah.
Reach will always be my favorite just because of the one mission where you play in the saber. I believe it is.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's a fun one.
It's either the saber or the short sword. I don't remember which fighter it is.
Yeah.
I only know it's one of those two because I know the long sword is the bomber. It's just last night I hopped
it's the funky. Yeah.
Because last night I hopped on the Halo Covenant at War mod for Empire War. Which is basically... I think you can pretty much imagine how that goes for the UNSC.
Yeah.
Here's a hint, it doesn't go very well for them.
Yeah, not the best.
Their station is infinitely better defended than the Covenant station. But... Yeah. Here's the problem. Do you know why you never see a shieldless faction in a fantasy or a sci-fi universe? Like a faction that doesn't use shields.
Yeah, because their armor is better.
Well, yeah, but like, why they don't exist like en masse?
Yeah.
Because they tend to get wiped out because those shields just help way more than extra armor plating does in a universe where you melt armor plating.
Depends on the setting. Like in the UNSC, they're pretty fucked.
Yeah.
But
I know in Halo they're pretty much fucked as is. So.
Yeah, but in what do you call it? For like end stuff, you're okay.
Yeah, certain ones they can get away with it. Like in Empire at War, Forces of Corruption, they added the Vengeance class frigate. Really nice ship. Had no shields on it though. Like it just didn't have a shield generator. It could go cloak, and it had the stupidly overpowered mass driver cannons on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was basically a fucking machine gun in space that rips through shields. Literally, it's like a machine gun. It literally just goes through the shield.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's a way to do it.
yeah. It's not very armored, like comparatively to other ships, but I think it's because there's no shield on it.
Yeah,
Like if it had
no,
a shield generator, it would feel like it lasts a little bit longer, in my opinion.
yeah.
And that
Um,
was the issue I had in the Halo Covenant at War mod, is that playing the Covenant, you can not only upgrade your ships as a Covenant, like you can give them more guns
yeah,
or increase the shields by 2 levels, or give it more guns by 2 levels.
yeah, yeah. No,
But it's like UNSC can't do that, and the UNSC has no shields.
yeah. So it's not a fact.
Yeah.
Um, all they really have going for them is mat cannons and stuff.
Oh yeah, the fucking Mac
Because I
cannons
don't
are
know if
great.
the carriers are always shielded.
I don't think any ship is shielded in the UNSC, at least up until.
No. I mean like Covenant carriers.
Oh, at least in the Covenant War mod, everything basically did.
Yeah, I know they can, but I know
I know the
not
Covenant just
all of
doesn't
them
care for
do.
most of the ships underneath,
Um,
like the carrier.
yeah.
Or like the
Um,
SDV, I believe it is, the fucking frontline cruisers.
yeah. But I know stuff like Seraphs specifically have shields.
Yeah, the
Um,
Seraphs do, and I
yeah.
think the Bomber
Banshees
does
don't though.
too.
Yeah, bombers do.
Yeah, the Banshees don't, but I think that's because it's actually just a modified Banshee for space fighting.
Yeah, but yeah. So like Banshees in general tend to be pretty piss poor, but
They're agile
they
as
have a
fuck.
place. Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
like the A-Wing in Star Wars.
yeah.
It's a very fast ship. It has shit shields, but it's supposed to be fast. You're supposed to not be hit.
For
Don't
sure,
get
for
hit.
sure. Yep.
Um, speaking of Halo, I always remember the first book, The Fall of Reach,
Uh-huh.
because
Ooh.
they actually go into description on the space battle of Reach.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when the for those of you who might not know, the actual reason the Covenant found Reach is actually kind of an accident. They put a tracking device on a fleeing human UNSC ship. I can't remember the name on the top of my head. It's not really important, anyways. But
Nope.
they put a tracker on that ship. They waited for it to stop, like doing emergency jumps to random
Yeah.
ass systems, and it just happened to go to Reach. And the Covenant, being the Covenant, thought, "Oh, this must be Earth. Send the entire
Yeah, yeah.
fleet."
Yep.
And for those who don't know, Reach is actually more defended than Earth.
Yeah.
Now, show of
Um,
hands. Who knows what happens to Reach?
yeah, but admittedly, like it's actually just sort of an inconveniently unfair fight
Oh
in
yeah,
Reach because specifically it's a target they haven't really necessarily fought very well in the past. By the time you hit Halo 1, this is actually like Halo 1 is like your real first encounter of really beating the Covenant.
yeah,
And Reach is the cacophony of failure.
yeah.
But in Halo 1, it's literally the first time you actually fail against the Covenant and succeed.
Yep,
And part of that is just um, developing knowledge from the luckiest man alive.
yep.
And
John
which is then
117.
why, when it comes to Halo 2, when they accidentally jump into literally Earth just by accident trying to find the Ark, that you were able to do so much against them because you
Well,
already know what to expect.
that and it also helped that the elites were starting to question the Covenant at that point.
Well, the schism doesn't happen until after you've killed two of the prophets.
Yeah,
So,
but
um,
we know the elites are questioning, like, are humans actually this big threat to the Great Journey? Are they actually our enemies? Are these demons, which is the canonical name of the Spartans to
yep.
the Covenant? they'd call them demons. They didn't have any better word, and it actually
Yeah.
fits when you stop and think about it. I mean, this is like
Yeah.
a demonic entity.
To,
And
to my understanding, in two, most of the elite schism questioning comes from their replacement from the brutes. Um, to my understanding.
yeah, it's because the
So
brutes start
that really, and obviously that sort of major schism doesn't happen until
basically the
they
start of 3.
replace the honor god, and that
Yeah,
happens essentially after the prophet of
I think it's
regret is
regret.
dead.
Yeah,
Regret is dead, and
I
High
think
Charity
truth.
is about to be breached within like the next like 2 hours.
Yeah, isn't High Charity about to be breached by the flood? At
Yeah,
that.
it happens. It happens just after the schism.
Yeah,
Because the Arbiter obviously goes off to Delta Halo, and he gets I can't remember what it was. He gets like he's thrown into the pit by Tartarus,
yeah,
which is the main betrayal of the elites, which is one of the major turning points. Obviously, the Arbiter doesn't die there, but
oh
that
yeah,
is the point where the after the honor guard has been changed and the brutes have fully betrayed the Covenant.
yep.
Well, the elites have been pushed out of the main Covenant,
And they're slowly being executed in secret.
and the chief boy is um is essentially, I can't remember if he gets blown up or he falls into the hole where he's then picked up by the Gravemind. But originally, this was funny. Originally, according to um, Donald, not Donald, the man with the pants that floats. You know the one.
Um, I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of it on the top of my
He's
head.
a lead project lead, right? And he was a
Yeah?
project lead for Halo 2 and Halo 1. And it's something Jones.
I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a project lead for Halo 2. For sure. The original plan for the Chief originally getting to the Gravemind was they were going to have him, because obviously the Chief thing is very two sides of the same coin, where they're both
Yeah.
trying to get the index. And what was originally supposed to happen is the Arbiter obviously goes his way, and he gets picked up by the Hingamabob in his race to get to the index before the Chief does. And the Chief successfully gets the index, or gets to the index, and then he's betrayed by Amanda.
Huh.
And essentially, either she was going to team up with the Prophets, so to get rid of him, or
That is weird.
she was going to betray him because he was like a convenient way of getting like doing a thing. Essentially, they were going to like put a bomb in his back. It was to destroy the Gravemind. They were going to put
Yeah.
a bomb in his back and throw him in a hole.
Oh yeah, I get that.
And then that's when you meet the Gravemind and the Arbiter. And when you're thrown in the hole, I think there was supposed to be another mission in between there, where you're introduced to the Gravemind before you get thrown in the hole.
Yeah.
And that was the whole plan I did. But obviously, time constraints, they cut that out. They didn't like the idea of Amanda being a villain. And so they changed it, which was cool.
I will say I kind of like that they cut it in the end.
I like the idea.
Concept-wise, I get
two
it.
betrayals. That's why the mission's named that, Two Betrayals.
Huh.
It's because you're supposed to be betrayed by Amanda.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'd like,
So yeah.
yeah, I get it.
So it opens up that question of without Amanda betraying you, who is the second betrayal? Is it the betrayal of the prophets to the elites?
Probably.
Is it the Gravemind to the Flood? These kind of it's a fun thing to play ball
Who
with.
knows?
So yeah, it's two betrayals. It's a cool little mission.
Yeah.
Speaking of content from Halo, there was recently stuff done into Halo 3 recently that discovered, well not discovered, but they explored cut content, specifically the Forerunners, and a Forerunner mini-boss that was supposed to be in the original Halo 3. So on the DLC map, it has this big hologram of the boss, and he's referenced in some of the dev kit. And essentially, he was supposed to look like one of these little 4-mana things, and he was supposed to be a mini boss. And you was, if you know the map Guardian,
I think I do.
which is the foresty map. You were originally supposed to go there on this big 4-mana forest mission where you go to, I think it's get the index or fight something or get something or other. Or stop the
Get to the index
Covenant from
normally.
taking, like using it. And essentially you fight your first one there. And then he turns up in some of the later missions, specifically the Warhog run as well. But they cut it. They didn't have time. They weren't satisfied with it. So they cut it.
That's fair. Talking back about Fall of Reach, there's one scene in that game or in the book that cracks. Well, it doesn't crack me up, but it just makes me feel good because it's just one of those just one of those sacrificial moves from a civilian fleet that's there. Because at the time of the Battle of Reach, they were undergoing massive retrofits for the UNSC fleets.
Yeah.
And obviously, once the Covenants start pouring in, there's a mass alert for everyone to either get the fuck out of Reach, or every fleet make your way to Reach to form the mega fleet, I guess.
Yeah.
So I remember the order to either engage to get to Reach and help, or do not attempt. Reach is under attack.
Yeah.
Kind of like what happens in Mass Effect 3. That's kind of what happens with Reach. Where the Sol system is under immense lockdown if you can get there, but otherwise avoid at all cost.
Yeah.
And in one point, there's these... They're described as, if I remember correctly, huge rectangular ships for these mechanic ships.
Yeah.
And the Pillar of Autumn is almost started to get attacked by the Covenant, and then they notice on the viewport that this civilian rectangle ship just charged in front and took the brunt of the blasts.
Chats.
Yeah.
It's the way to do it.
And then I gotta say, the Halo books are kind of weird when you read them.
Yeah.
So it goes Fall of Reach, which is everything leading up to the very beginning of Halo 1.
Yeah.
It even, if I remember correctly, yeah, it finishes off right where Halo 1 starts. Then you have Halo the Flood, which is the novelization of the first game.
Yep.
Pretty good book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And then there's the First Strike, which is the third book.
Yeah.
Which takes place right before Halo 2, I think. Because the Chief meets up with his squad, because he was originally a part of a squad during Halo 1.
Blue team.
Yeah, is it blue or is it red? I never remember.
It's blue.
Blue, yeah. Because it's Kelly, Fred, Linda, I want to say, and someone else.
Yeah.
There's 4 other Spartan 2s with him, and it's the first time they've met up in what I assume has to be a fucking couple of years now.
A hot minute, for sure.
A hot minute, yeah.
A hot minute.
And right after Halo 1's events and you destroy the Halo ring, you apparently make it back to Reach. Fucking UNSC's defeated at this point. Except for they're holding out on the ground, and there's this Admiral Whitcomb. I remember his name exactly because he's probably the greatest screw up in the ground assault of Reach.
Yeah.
This admiral decides he's going to send a massive armor division to attack the enemy, and then orders a saturation bombing run. So, he sent this massive armored division and then blew it up, essentially.
Yeah. Big brain.
Yeah, he wasn't very good at it, but he tried.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. He tried. He doesn't know. He's not a general. He was never a general. He was not trained in ground warfare. He did what he thought would work, and unfortunately, it cost several thousands of lives.
That's the way it goes.
The Chief is trying to evac him and everyone else they can off Reach, because the Oni lab is under attack and there's data there that must not be revealed to the Covenant. I cannot remember
Yeah.
what. Probably the location of Earth for one, but some other stuff. And Admiral Whitcomb has enacted the order that they are to launch their I forget the exact name of it. I think it's like a super nuke or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's a nuclear missile with the capability of destroying the entire planet,
Hmm.
or at least wiping out all life on it. And yeah, I don't remember the exact details because it's been a couple of years since I read it. But the chief manages to get everyone out. They actually
Hmm.
they boarded or they got, I think it's the UNSC Elysius or something, or no, the Gettysburg.
Sounds familiar.
It's the Gettysburg, I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah.
they took over a Covenant ship that was kind of like abandoned or some shit, and they connected the two, powered up the slip space drive, or the Fujuki Shawa drive. I don't remember the exact name of the human slip space drives,
Yeah.
but they use the Covenant ship to power up their slip space drive, and they jump to Earth. I'm pretty sure it is, and like
Hmm.
obviously with this Covenant enhanced power to their slip space drive, they arrive
Yeah.
in the matter of like days instead of like the weeks it would have took, and they're a little suspicious when they arrive.
Yeah.
And Reach at this point has been just fucking nuked because they managed to escape and they launched it.
Yeah.
Or no, it was a Forerunner artifact that Oni had in the labs. I remember now. Some sort of like Rosetta Stone of Forerunner tech.
Yeah.
And they got everyone out that they could. A lot of Spartan 2s died on Reach.
For sure. For sure.
That is one thing Halo Reach got right, even though it was Spartan 3s for the whole squad except George.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing that made Reach such a costly ground invasion is that is a Spartan home.
Oh yeah.
Every
It's where
Spartan
yeah.
was trained there. Every Hell Jumper, the ODSTs, trained there. Most of the Marines
Yeah.
trained there. That was the biggest military installation in the galaxy, and it was pretty much the perfect training ground before it got nuked. You had
Yeah.
your ice continents, you had your desert continents, you had your jungles and shit. So you
Yeah.
could. It's kind of like that Mass Effect 3 squad they talk about for the Systems Alliance that were trained that they could go anywhere within a week and be ready.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, basically. And yeah, you have all of your Spartan 2s that are available on the planet. You've got your Hell Jumpers, who,
Yeah.
yeah, the two don't like each other. Mostly because, I forget the. I think it's Major Silva, because he was in the first book. He was like the founder of the ODST. And, he didn't like the chief because the chief killed two of his men or severely
Yeah.
injured
Yeah. I
them
remember
in the
that.
first book.
Yeah.
Because he was told by his superiors that they wanted two of his ODSTs to fuck with him, and the chief had none of it. Fucking, I think he just threw like one punch at both of them and basically killed them because
Yeah.
Spartans are
Yeah.
fucking insanely strong, even without
Yeah.
their armor. And throughout that whole book, he is a dick to the chief. He even has the line. He has a line like, I don't like you Spartans. My ODSTs are better, and he basically tells them that you will follow whatever order I have. The only
Yeah.
questions, if I tell you to take a shit, you will ask me what color, where you want it, and how much shit.
Yeah.
And obviously, the chief, isn't really a big fan of this, but he's the superior officer right now, so he has to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the major has a great idea, by the way.
Oh.
He did. Oh, okay. So when the human base, I forget what they called it on the Halo ring. They set up like he's really good about defending it. He even sets
Yeah.
up vehicle dugouts for scorpions. So, you know, you have your fucking pillbox for a goddamn tank.
Yep. Yep.
And the Covenant try to invade this cliffside, and, you know, they're advancing. They've got some troops that snuck aboard a Pelican and held the pilot basically at fucking garrote wire and told him that, yeah, you're gonna help us land and infiltrate and you live.
Yeah.
And then the elite was like, fuck it, I hate you, and killed him
Yeah.
afterwards. And then the elite was disgusted because the human relieved himself as he died. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's like the one moment I've ever seen in the books where it's like, oh yeah, the elites are honorable race. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
garroted this guy. They didn't like energy sword stab him in the gut or anything. No, they just garroted him.
Nah.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
If it
although,
works, it works.
although I forget his name. It's the Covenant, or it's the elite that's chasing the chief throughout the whole book for the flood. I forget his name
Yeah.
because like I'm pretty sure he would have become the arbiter if he had survived
Yeah.
because he was very dishonorable and although he's the only reason they found the human base. They basically told he told Yap Yap to pretend
Yes.
to be injured in a wreckage and have a tracking device on him.
Yeah.
And obviously UNSC forces investigate this crash site. They take the grunts prisoners, and Yap Yap, when he gets there, as soon as he has confirmation that the chief is there, he activates the tracker, and in
Yeah.
comes the Covenant. And then, you know, they get attacked by fucking dugout fucking scorpions and shit like that, so their attack kind of fails.
Yeah.
And yeah, Yap Yap is the greatest grunt ever, and unfortunately he doesn't make it through the book.
Yeah.
He dies near the end when the planet goes, or the Halo ring goes fucking nuclear, or goes Death
Yeah.
Star.
Yep. It's hard to escape that one.
Yeah,
Hard to overcome it.
at that point, Yap Yap was actually debating like a bit, like going AWOL and running into the desert to live with the communities of deserters until they ran
Yeah.
out of methane. And it's like, I don't blame you, Yap Yap. I wish I could have saved you though, buddy. You would have been a great UNSC ally.
Ah,
And then
that's how it goes.
Halo Wars 2 introduces him as a DLC leader.
Yeah.
Makes no sense because he's dead, but it's beautiful. It's just beautiful seeing Yap Yap. Actually, fun fact, in I think it's Halo 3 or 2, and it might be in Reach a little bit. You can occasionally hear grunts um, shouting for Yap Yap and shit like that
Yeah. Yeah.
as combat dialogue, and it's just beautiful to me
Yeah.
that the grunt, like, there's no reason the grunt should really know Yap Yap or know of him, considering everyone
It's a
in
good
the
meme.
yeah, it's good that they recognize that Yap Yap was the best boy ever.
Yeah.
Um, and then Halo First Strike, and I remember the ending of the First Strike pretty okayly because it just felt really fucking lackluster compared to like Halo the Flood and Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
Because at the ending of First Strike, they they're running from the Covenant. They encountered some pirates who threatened them at Shiva Warhead Point, basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Took them prisoner essentially, and then the Covenant found them, and the chief's like, you should launch all of your Shiva warheads. And the
Mm.
pirates leader was like, actually those were just vents that we designed to emit like radiation to look like a Shiva warhead.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck. And then you
You
find out
sort of
that
fucked it.
fucking Dr. Halsey, the creator of the Spartan Project, or at least the
Hmm.
Spartan 2 and on project, she had kidnapped, was it Kelly or Linda? I don't remember.
Um,
She like
I think
knocked
it
one out
was.
to do surgery on them, and then she like yeeted out in an escape pod or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he's been gone a while.
Yeah.
I figured he'd be back by now. Well, shit, he might not even be here for any of this. Then,
Yeah. It's getting a bit later. Yeah.
yeah, we'll go for a little bit longer, but
Yeah. Yeah. Works for me.
we'll go for like 10 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
That puts us at about an hour 25.
Yep.
And it was, I gotta say, the Halo books were great. I never
Yeah,
ended
for
up
sure. I
reading
really liked
past
them.
them. I never got
Yeah.
past first strike because I was reading them through my high school's library and I kind of just stopped after first strike.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I'll
they were
probably
good.
buy them again, or I'll buy them at some point. Speaking of books,
Yeah.
I ordered Metro 2033, the book.
Nice. Nice.
It's supposed to be here sometime by the 29th. It was supposed to arrive some point about the middle of this month, but it only got
Yeah.
shipped like 5, 6 days ago, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just heard family say something I couldn't hear them. What? Yeah, some I still can hear
Yeah.
it, but yeah. It was weird trying to find the right copy of Metro 2033 because there's like 5 different covers for that book.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them.
There's one for the game, the story behind Metro Last Light.
Yeah.
Um, I forget the original, but it's the same cover as like the game. I'm pretty sure the original
Yeah.
Metro
Yeah.
2033, and then a bunch of other covers, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Hopefully that book's pretty good. I'm assuming it will be. Everyone seems to love it.
Yeah. No, people like Metro. People like Stalker. I'm a big fan of Stalker.
Yeah.
Um, Metro is fine. I don't mind Metro. I personally prefer the Stalker thing just because it's got more of a what do you
Is it
call it? A
is
go ahead.
is it Stalker the one where you're trying to hunt this assassin that's after you, and it turns out you're the assassin or whatever?
I
There's
don't
some game in
know if that's
Chernobyl.
exactly Stalker, but there's a couple of them. There's a bunch of them.
There's I know there's a game where it takes place in Chernobyl and you're like hunting this assassin who's out for your life and you find out, oh, that was actually you the assassin and you've been like re-brainwashed
Yeah.
or some shit. I only found like a very brief summary of it, but talking of
Yeah.
the post-apocalyptia fiction that everyone loves,
Yeah.
those that might not know, Metro was inspired by Stalker. What was the other one?
A
Something
roadside
Picnic?
picnic.
Yeah,
A
Roadside
roadside
Picnic.
picnic, which Stalker was originally based on.
And it also had inspiration from the original Fallout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dmitry Glukovsky, I think I pronounced that right.
Yeah,
Please,
something like that.
fans, please do not. I only speak a little bit of Russian. I gave up on learning Russian on Duolingo.
Yeah.
I only learned how to say like a couple of sentences worth in the end.
Fair enough.
I don't know Russian. I'm assuming it's Glukovsky. I don't know. I know it's Dmitry.
Yes.
So I've heard countless people say Dmitry,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently in Russian is Dima.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
don't
know
actually.
that.
Apparently, they don't say Dmitry in Russian. They say Dima.
Huh.
That I learned from Duolingo. That's one of the few
The
things
more
I
you know.
remember. And it also helps that one of my favorite Call of Duty games ever was World at War,
Sure.
and you played as Dmitry. For the Russian campaign, you played as Dmitry.
Yeah.
Dmitry Petrenko, private
Yep.
first class or private. I forget if he was a PFC or just private.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Third Shock Battalion, I want to say was the battalion he was
Yeah.
a part of. I just remember he worked with the best badass in the Russian army, Sergeant Reznov.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he knows Makarov, which is why
I don't did
which is why
what?
Price confronts you in 3.
Wait, Reznov or Dmitri?
Dmitri, tell me why does if you're supposed to be on our side, then why does Makarov know you? Oh, some bullshit like that.
You might be thinking of someone else because I know Dmitri dies in Black Ops 1 because he gets killed by the Nova 6 bullshit.
Oh yeah, no. There's
So
two Russians, and one of them is in one. I don't think it's Dmitri, but it's something like Dmitri. Let me look it up.
it might
Modern
be like Dimitri's
Warfare,
child or something.
um, Russian. Fuck it. There's one of them.
It's not Reznov because we know Reznov died in the
Yeah,
60s.
yeah. Reznov
Oh,
dies.
oh no, sorry, I can't say he died because he apparently survived because of Black Ops 4's story mode or
It's
blackout
Yuri.
mode.
Sorry, Yuri's the one
Yuri,
in
yeah,
Modern
yeah, yeah,
Warfare.
yeah, Yuri.
I
I
forget
think he's
because they're both
related
Russian
to
guys that are
Dimitri
cool.
though.
Yeah, they're both Russian guys that are very cool.
I
I
have
never
this
remember the
like
card.
I have this theory that most of the fucking characters you play are related to one another, or at least the ones from the same nation.
Yeah,
I will always love though that fucking Private Dimitri of the Third Shock Battalion. I'm pretty sure it's the Third Shock Battalion. I know it's the Third Shock something.
yeah,
I just love how he's a private in the fucking Russian army from the very beginning of the campaign at Stalingrad all the way to fucking planting the flag on the fucking um the 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 fucking the headquarters of the Nazis. I can't think of the name.
yeah,
And I love how in World at War you don't actually know if Dmitri survived because
yeah,
he's kind of like fading in and out of fucking consciousness because he just got shot in the fucking head.
yeah.
And then Reznov just kind of fucking butchers that Nazi. Actually, I don't know if it's a Nazi or if it was just a conscript, but I'm pretty sure it was Nazi considering he was the last guy standing.
Yeah,
Pulls out a,
I think he is.
I think he even pulls out a Mauser because I don't think it was the Luger.
Yeah,
So it was like I'm pretty sure he had a unique pistol on him.
yeah.
And then watching Reznov just butcher him was just beautiful. And then he fucking throws the goddamn body off the roof.
Yeah,
And then then seeing fucking Dimitri die in Black Ops.
yeah. What's it feels bad.
I get why he died in Black Ops. It was because, you know, we're supposed to see, oh, these three are so evil. Look at them. They just killed one of the protagonists from the previous game.
Yeah.
And it was their own men.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the death that still hits me the most in World at War is still fucking oh my god, what's his name? The sergeant at the very beginning of the USA campaign.
Mm-hmm.
The one who dies like 3 missions in. I can't think of his name.
I can't
It's
remember necessarily either.
it's something Sullivan. I'm pretty sure it's Sullivan. I just can't think of his name.
I almost had it and it slipped straight back out now. Fuck.
I want to say it was Sergeant Sullivan
Something like that.
because then Roebuck takes over as sergeant, and then yeah, and I'll admit the fucking choice at the end of that campaign is pretty heartbreaking too. I mean, choose either this fellow private or Sergeant Roebuck on who gets to live based on who you fucking shoot the fucking suicide bomber on.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
And you just, no matter which choice you do, you hear Roebuck's very beginning pre mission dialogue where he's talking about like when we take Shuri Castle, we go home, all of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then whichever one you saved hands you the dog tags of the other.
Yeah.
And it's almost more depressing when you hear when it's Robux, because it's always Robux voice saying it. But I
Yeah.
think it's more depressing when you choose Polanski and you hear Robux saying, "When we take Shuri Castle, we go home, all of us,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're just handed Robux dog tags.
Yep.
And it
No.
still hurts when it's Polanski, but it's like it really hurts then.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't really like Polanski. I don't know.
Oof.
I just didn't like him as much as Roebuck, and I think it's because Roebuck is just your bro through the whole campaign.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you have Reznov. Oh my God, what was his name? The Russian conscript who was like really squeamish about killing,
Oh.
and then gets flamethrowered in the face on like the second to last mission.
Oh.
I
I
can't
can't
think of it.
remember.
Private Cherno, I think.
Yeah.
Chernov, something like that.
Um. I can't think of it. It's not in the brain right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. But yeah, he was a pretty. I remember in one of my runs for that, I actually felt so bad for that private that I stabbed him with my knife, so he'd
Yeah. Yeah.
be
Yeah.
put out of his misery, and I got a fucking mission failed for betraying the motherland. And I'm like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, I'm putting him out of his misery. I did not
Yeah.
betray anyone. That motherfucker is a burnt, like,
Trade off.
Chernov, yeah. I still remember at the very beginning of that mission, Reznov is bitching at him for writing in his
Yeah.
journal, and it's like, no one will ever read this. And then you get to that last bit of the mission, and it's like Reznov sees the journal and picks up and is like, someone should read this. And that
Yeah.
final mission, you hear Chernov's diary entry on that day. And it's just
Yeah.
Chernov doing the dialogue, and then it continues until the mission starts. And it's just,
Yeah.
you really feel for him, I
Yeah.
gotta say. And
Yeah.
I think it also helps because he's like he's like the fucking angel on Dimitri's shoulder to Reznov being the devil.
Yeah.
Because Chernov doesn't want to execute the fucking German prisoners or the Germans that are already dying. And Reznov
Yeah.
is just kill them all. Kill them
Yeah.
faster.
Yep.
Which I always remember there's that squad on that when you're taking the outers of Berlin, the mission right before Chernov dies,
Yeah.
where there's that group of Nazi soldiers and the Russians are going to execute them anyways, and you can just mow them down
Yeah.
yourself, and Reznov kind of like commends you for doing it. And it's like,
Yeah.
usually I end up doing it just because, well, at this point, fucking Dmitri has seen way more suffering than needed.
Yeah.
He was a prisoner for probably about a year in the Germans after Stalingrad, because that's how that first mission or second mission starts, as Reznov bursts in with a tank or some shit and saves you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's definitely fucked up, don't get me wrong, but I think it's in Dimitri's character that he would be pissed
Yeah.
off at the Russians, or the Russians. Probably, actually, considering, realistically speaking, not every soldier had a gun in the Red Army.
Yeah.
Oh god, what Call of Duty was it? Where they literally gave you a clip of ammo and told you good luck? Was it Finest Hour, or was it I think it's Finest Hour.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you start off at the very beginning of the campaign as the Russians. You get your fucking clip of ammo and you're told, good luck, find a gun. And I always remember, because in that first bit, it's just a bunch of hallways, as we'd consider in modern day, where you're just running past the fighting.
Yeah.
and then you just magically find a dead guy with a Car 98K, and it just so happens that you had the rounds for a Car 98K.
How convenient.
Yeah. I remember telling a friend about that, and they were like, "Would they expect me to throw the fucking bullets at the enemy?" Like, you know what?
Yeah.
It sounds like something we would do just to fuck around in the game.
Yeah.
Throw the fucking clip of ammo. I want this in a video game now. Throw the clip of ammo and it explodes or some shit, with like the grenade guns and Borderlands.
Yeah. I was gonna say like Borderlands has the guns which you throw and they like to reload them.
Yep.
Which
And
is cool.
the less ammo you actually use in the gun before you throw it, the more deadly
more
the
damage.
explosion. Yeah. I used to like those, and then it's like, okay, I'm burning through ammo too quickly with these. They can't reload. Um, yeah. Well, shit, I was hoping you'd be back by now. Um,
You were saying?
oh, good timing.
Good timing because someone left the damn sink plugged in.
Oh, I was just saying good timing because, like, I was just waffling until you got back. Um,
Oh. I'm not good with that stuff.
so here's our third guest and my co-op buddy for Gears 4 and currently Gears 5 again.
What's up?
Alright, and it looks like Valk stuff just died on his end.
Ooh.
Because he just sent me a Discord message.
Guess I'm a bad luck charm.
Nah. I think he was getting
Hey.
ready to get off anyways. Because, you know, we've been going for...
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's alright. We just mostly talk about stuff you probably wouldn't have had much input on.
Yeah, 'cause I was doing, stuff.
One moment. Let me...
And I had Halo.
We talked about Halo.
Okay. That's all I heard you talk about, so...
We talked a little bit about Gears. We talked about some COD. We talked about we talked for a while on Halo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get him back in here.
Mm.
If I can figure out how to. Well, if I could see the fucking party overlay, kick him.
Oh, I feel like
try...
you know the most annoying thing in humanity ever? It's call my way. It's the worst thing to exist.
That was him leaving. Alright, welcome
Hey.
back.
Welcome
Nice.
back.
It seems like we're actually getting somewhere now.
There we go.
Game bar seems to be functional, which is good.
Yeah. So yeah, next time we do a podcast, we'll better time this to where we're all active. What else did we talk about aside from Halo and some COD and a little bit of just PC games?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have things I could talk about, but nothing particularly interesting. That isn't games.
Well, since Largo's been gone the whole time, we could have him take control of the conversation for a bit.
Okay.
You could just like talk about games that you enjoy.
Oh boy. This is gonna be a long one.
We'll probably stop in like 20 minutes. So that'll be an
Okay.
hour and almost 2 hours at that point.
Yeah.
Thinking. Ooh,
Yeah, go ahead.
let's talk about RPGs in general.
We did that earlier, but yeah, let's close off on RPGs.
Great,
Come
I get
on.
to listen to Sid talk about fucking Dragon Quest again.
Yes!
Yeah,
What a
Dragon
fucking
Quest 11,
brilliant way
let's
of
go
a
back.
time, because I'm invested in RPGs.
Let's go
I'm
back.
more of a. Well, actually, I'm more of a Final Fantasy person.
Yeah, that's fair. Final Fantasy
Yeah.
is just great in general.
I mean, I prefer 6, 9, and any one before 6.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's not that much of a Dragon Quest following here in Europe, to be honest. from my
There,
understanding.
it's not very successful outside of Japan.
Yeah.
That's why Dragon
Mhm.
Quest X didn't release worldwide,
Yes.
which was an MMO, and I'm still salty over never getting to play. You know what? I'll talk about one of the coolest features in Dragon Quest XI, in my opinion.
Go on.
So about halfway through Act 1, you encounter these little ghosts, the little blobs called tockles, and they allow. There's like 30 or 40 of them scattered across the whole game. Some of them can only be found in like Act 2 and 3 and whatnot, but excuse me. As you find them in the world, they give you a secret, a quote unquote password, not password, password,
Uh-huh.
and this allows you to go to the tockle's home and enter one of 10 tomes, and each of these tomes has like 3 locations from the various Dragon Quest games, from Dragon Warrior 1 to Dragon Quest 10. And you do this in 2D fashion, so you're running around playing in 2D mode during these.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that reminds me a lot of, I think I mentioned this last time, the Diablo 3 anniversary quest, where all of the sprites
Yeah.
get like a certain limited amount of
Yeah, I remember you
tone
talking about
frames,
that in the last
and they get the
episode.
pixel filter and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah,
And like all the running stuff is like old Diablo. It's really cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool, I gotta admit. I like when games do that, where you can go back and relive like the previous games a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Guess
Speaking of Dragon Quest, I forget. Oh no, it was Dragon Quest V. I was playing on on the DS through the 208 cartridge game, and Largo, you're gonna find this funny. There was an NPC in the game called Captain Blade.
Only I'm gonna find that funny.
Yeah. I thought about telling you, but I forgot to, and then it's like I just remembered because Dragon Quest. And DQ5 is weird. There's the dream mode, and then there's real life.
That literally reminds me of Mario and Luigi Dream Team Bros.
It's kind of like that, I think. I don't know. I never really played Dream Team.
I have. I completed it.
Oh, did Valk die again?
No, I'm here. I just have very little to add into the RPG discussion. And it came to my realization that Diablo is an RPG, but I mean that's all I have to contribute.
It's I don't know what to call it.
Diablo's okay.
It's an isometric RPG. It's an RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the one game that isn't an RPG but has RPG elements that has been pretty fun is Def Gears 5. I highly recommend Gears 5 for everyone if they can play it. You can if you're a PlayStation nub or a Nintendo nub. But,
Oh,
hey,
Hit me up, I'm a great Jack player. I killed the most bullshit boss in the game by carrying a sentry gun.
I'm gonna have to see if I upload that to YouTube. I'm gonna have to upload that if I still have it.
You'll see, we'll see. But yeah, I killed I can't remember what we're called now.
Yeah, we were playing. I was playing Horde with Largo and someone else. I want to say, or no, was it just the two of us?
It was just us two.
Yeah, it was just us and like 3 AI. And our wave 50 enemy was the fucking matriarch. And I'm running around with a Mulcher playing cat. This was before they changed classes. Back when where it was character is a class, not classes and you can be whatever character. I kind of like the classes being different than characters to a degree.
Yeah.
Because I like cat. I like Paddock. But I do kind of miss the character class setup because it felt better.
Jack's still take class, that for an obvious reason.
Yeah, Jack's his own class, obviously. And
I am probably the best Jack player here.
yeah, I was running around as Cat with a Mulcher or it was either Mulcher or Tri-Shot. I cannot remember which. It was one of the
It
two.
was a Tri-Shot.
Tri-Shot, okay.
We
But
would
yeah, because
we
Mulchers
don't
don't.
get Mulchers on.
Yeah, Mulchers are pretty
Both
rare
ones.
in Horde. And I was in cover, holding the Mulcher, and the Matriarch jumped and smushed me.
Yep.
And Largo went to go recover my gear tags, but he couldn't for some reason. And we were about to rage quit because of this, since, Jack can't really fight the Matriarch, and the AIs are too stupid to fight her.
Yeah.
And then he does the clutch thing I've never seen. It was the most badass thing ever. He picked up one of the turrets from our back line by the fabricator, sneaks around behind her, places the turret, and just keeps moving the turret as she kind of moves to engage it.
Mm-hmm.
And he managed to kill the Matriarch.
Nice.
As Jack, with a turret.
That's clutch. It's clutch.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, like... For those who have not played Gears 5, the Matriarch is worse than... I damn well say she is the worst boss in the entire game. In the entire series.
She is.
Fucking
I'm sorry.
Berserkers are more fun to fight than her, and we all hate Berserkers.
I mean, you can play as Berserkers in Gears of War 3's Beast mode. Very good mode. They're a bit difficult, but very good.
I would assume they'd be difficult, to be fair.
I'm actually really good at Beast mode, surprisingly.
Speaking of the fucking Berserker, I know I told you both that I was running through Gears 1 on my own a few months back.
Yeah.
Or maybe I only told Valk, I don't remember. And the fucking Berserker shows up so much in Gears 1.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 4 or 5 Berserker fights in that whole game. And they all have a fucking bullshit timer because, oh no, the satellite's gonna be out of range. You gotta get it to this location, and it's like, trying to get that fucking Berserker where you need to go is a pain in the ass. It took me like, I think it took me like 10 minutes to get it to breach through the fucking vault door so we could go outside and fucking drop the hammer on his ass.
Yeah.
Because, and I know I told Valk this, because I tried to dodge past him while he's running, and dodging means he actually curves. So he would always miss the fucking vault door by like an inch. I finally fucking decided to just kind of lazily, like, sidestep, and that worked. And I'm like, fuck you, game. Fuck you. And
I can't. I wouldn't be able to do that boss battle at all.
it's really just being quiet and moving slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I can get it on my own. I love to fucking piss that thing off. Now that I understand that as an adult. Because when Gears 1 was popular, I played it with my cousin. Same cousin I played Halo 3 with. Didn't know a fucking thing of what I was doing in Gears. We got to that Berserker fight, and someone had to substitute one of or like a family friend or something had to take over for one of us because the berserker kept running one of us over and insta killing us in his charge. And yeah. Yeah. And then what is it? Gears? No, it's Gear. Is it Gears 3 where you get the Hammer of Dawn? And it's like, oh, we realigned every satellite in the area, so use it as much as you fucking want.
I don't think it is.
It's either 2 or 3. I think it might be.
Wrong.
I think it's 2. But yeah, the matriarch is literally the worst boss in the Gears franchise because you have to shoot her in the back. It's the only spot where she takes damage. It's worse than fucking General Rom and his bullshit krill shield. But the game doesn't even tell you how to deal with, mind you. I actually had to look up for General Rom because I would just get killed by his krill. And it turns out what you have to do is you shoot him with an explosive to cause the krill to go away, and then you shoot the fuck out of him. And then the krill start, returning to protect him, and you just keep doing the explosives. Yeah, I didn't know this, and there was a time where I threw like 4 fucking grenades on his feet, and he still lived. So I call bullshit on that. But at least after Gears 1, they realized that the krill sucked. And apparently the reason the krill don't show up in the other Gears is because apparently General Rom was controlling them.
That is a bit lazy.
I mean, to be fair, considering they do form a literal wall of flesh around him to protect him from harm, I believe it. But it is kind of a lazy excuse of why they don't show up anymore. Because, yeah, it's like, oh, he doesn't have control over them anymore, so they just kind of flew off, do their own fucking thing. Which, thank God, because so much of Gears 1 sucked because of the krill.
Yeah.
I remember one time I went to pick up one of the collectible Gears tags and died instantly after I picked it up.
Lol.
Literally picked it up, instantly dead from krill. Although I respawned, but hey, I had the Gears tag, so fuck you, game. And yeah, Gears 2, Gears 3, both great games. Gears 4, it was okay.
No.
That middle section in the fucking mines was pure bullshit, as I mentioned earlier.
Have Vietnam flashbacks from the entirety of that game, like severe Vietnam flashbacks from all of it.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the other games.
Doggy started on that bullshit bike part.
Yeah, the bike part was not great. I mean, it was cool in concept, but it went way too long. And if you're doing that in co-op, that means 2 people have to have the reflexes of a god.
I was fine with it, I just didn't like it at all.
Yeah. And it didn't help that I wasn't really on my at my best when we were doing the reflexes, or the biker bit, so I kept crashing. And that made us restart.
It's what usually happens when you try to put vehicle stuff in a first-person shooter or third-person shooter. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
I agree with that, and normally it doesn't work.
Except for Halo. I've seen what fights looks like when you're in a vehicle Halo. That can be fun. But in Gears of War and Call of Duty and fucking Payday as well, that has a bit of gunning around and stuff.
I think my favorite vehicle mission in an otherwise third or first person shooter is that tank segment in World at War.
Yeah, and there's also Resident 5's infamous turret level where you've got to shoot people before they destroy your fucking Jeep or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's always
controversial take. I like vehicle missions in FPSs. I think they were good. Here, Half-Life 2 does a brilliant job of making vehicles immersive as well as somewhat instructive.
I agree with that one.
Modern Warfare, not that you necessarily use vehicles often, it's more turret sections, does do a good job.
Yeah.
A lot of these games do good jobs with vehicles and how they're used.
Yeah, especially more modern first-person and third-person shooters. They're getting better about those vehicle segments, either being good
they are.
or they're just memorable because it's a fun time.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
All right, we got like 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
And then we'll stop.
I don't have anything to talk about.
I guess let's just leave off on cool vehicle segments in otherwise non-vehicle games.
Sure, works for me.
Like Doc said just a few moments ago, the vehicle segment in Modern Warfare 1, where you play the grenade launcher, the grenade machine gun. I forget how to I forget the right term for it. Where you're on the sea knight. This is a mission where what's his face launches the nukes or detonates the nukes in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool one because you're fighting fucking technicals and tanks with a fucking rapid fire machine gun grenade launcher thing.
Yeah. There's a good one in Modern Warfare 2 where you, again, it's a glorified turret section, but you ride in a helicopter to the Gulag to free.
Is that kind of
Captain Price from the
and in that you play the minigun on the side of the helicopter, and
so
it
it's
is just the turret section.
fucking. It's like the attack helicopter kill streak done.
Yeah,
chopper
it's
gunner.
essentially the exact same, but it's got story beats in it. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that in games.
Yeah.
I remember talking of the chopper gunner. I remember when I was playing Call of Duty Heroes, which was the shitty mobile Clash of Clans ripoff of COD.
Yeah.
It was kind of a fun game. And the first hero you unlock at the very beginning of the game is Price. And his kill streak, which you get points for killing units and blowing up buildings. His first streak on there is literally calling the chopper gunner. And you just push your thumb on the screen, you're just firing the fucking chopper.
Ooh, what about the final level of Black Ops 1? That was a good time.
What was the final level of Black Ops 1? I don't remember.
You kill Dragovich.
Oh yeah, where you infiltrate the oil rig, right?
You infiltrate the Rizalka.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's a boat called Rizalka.
It's like you infiltrate the oil rig and he's got like a sub underneath. Or like a sub factory underneath, and you infiltrate that and you fucking take him out. I remember that. That was a really cool mission. And then led immediately into the credits, just like World at War, into zombies.
I wish you could Black Ops did that, but they just ruined it after Black Ops 3. Black Ops 2 was fun here and there.
Black Ops 2 was fun in the loadout section. I stand to this day. I want more games where I can choose my loadout pre-mission. I want more fucking shooters where I can choose to bring the fucking saw machine gun with me everywhere.
Yeah, the breakdown of card games is specifically an interesting one because you see the postmodern decline in some of the elements of Modern Warfare 2, but specifically Modern Warfare 3. And it happens because you see it in all sort of FPS games of its era, where they have this decline. Like, none of them seem to be able to make a game that works. That, I would argue, is Halo 4, where it was taken quite badly by the general populace. And Modern Warfare 3 was not taken well. These kinds of games in this era, but they had a really hard time finding the new FPS formula. And you saw that with Titanfall having a poor release. Even though it was a fan favorite, it was a poor release. And just games like it, they were all struggling to find their market in this.
Yeah.
Even Battlefield games were struggling. Think of how successful Bad Company 2 was, and then you go straight into this like depressionist era where none of these FPS games that were massively successful seem to be able to hit the mark anymore because they're all trying to outdo each other and all of them are failing to do anything good. And it's around about there where your real FPS successors start to be your Battle Royale PUBGs. That's just before the era where Battle Royale games were popular. And it's just after this massive FPS post-depression. And well, you see that with FIFA as well. These sort of sports games, which were all the rage, oh my god, I love Ultimate Team, has had that decline as well, now that we've went into this Battle Royale era. It's quite weird and interesting. Call of Duty has recently had its resurgence, with quality titles of going back to the same basic bitch formula with a more modernist outlook, specifically Modern Warfare, and the new Black Ops Cold War, which hits all of the very similar beats of the old games, but in a new style. And you see it with Battlefield trying to come back. Who knows? Well, I mean, Halo literally did the exact same thing by literally doing the same games again. We'll see what happens with the new one, but...
No matter what happens to the Call of Duty games, or any game, I will always be good at being a short-range sniper.
Largo can fucking headshot you with no scope on a fucking Gears 5 with fucking the long shot.
He should know. Nice. I did it to him.
I've seen him headshot me several times, no scoped. I've watched the kill cam.
Then there's also Payday 2, where I'm literally I'm hauling a fucking 50 cal sniper rifle around, which by the way it goes against the Geneva Conventions.
Yep, you cannot legally use a 50 cal on a human being. So Modern Warfare 1, you are breaking the Geneva Conventions by firing it on what's his name?
It's because 50 caliber is considered an anti-material.
Yep.
And
you can use it to disable a vehicle.
Resident Evil 6 is breaking the Geneva Conventions.
Is it? They're undead. Doesn't matter. They're not here.
Yeah. To be fair, at that point, though, the Geneva Conventions are out of the window because zombies are attacking.
Yeah, Geneva Convention doesn't count against undead. They're not human.
I guess
this is a fun technicality. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on Space Station 13 rules, okay?
Oh god.
When things refer, any AI rules refer to humanity. Humanity does not mean robots, AIs, undead, vampires, aliens, moth people, plant people, or pod people. The only thing that counts as humanity is humanity. So in the AI laws, what state, it's like, oh, you must not harm a human. You must follow orders given to you by a human. And you must protect yourself at all costs as long as this does not violate Law 1 or 2. You're just sitting there as a little lizard man, like, AI, can you open the door to this? And he'd be like, nah, fuck you. He can fill the room with plasma and kill you if he really feels like it. It's not really a good way of keeping himself alive, which violates Law 3. So, undead, they ain't part of the Geneva Convention. They ain't human. Yeah. And if you lizard people dare disagree, I'll fill your fucking room with plasma and blow you all up. Fuck off. So, I'm a big fan of pretty point AI law sets and law sets in general for AI. People I hate it when people do AI wrong, okay? Which is like, oh, it's like an AI companion that's like a shipboard AI that does things for me, and it's witty and funny. Okay, that's fine. That's an AI trope, okay? But when you're telling me, oh, it's just generic ship AI man, and he doesn't have a rule set, so he doesn't just fucking kill you in your sleep because he feels like it, Maybe he's feeling chaotic that day. You can't ask, oh, AI state laws, and he gives you a bunch of laws. It's like he can't violate. Like, don't eat children when I'm bored. Do not blow up space captain. Just bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I like law sets. Law sets are good. Because law sets, I also think law sets are good if you think of like a character's perspective or story perspective, where you can actually use law sets to manipulate a character if you're smart. So if you have, he has a law set and this is his law set, well, does this violate his law set? If it does this mean that he has malfunctioned? If it doesn't, what else doesn't violate his law set? Can he do this? Which means, can I make him do this and therefore be somewhat antagonistic? But he's actually just following his law set. He's pure
Yeah,
lawful
it's definitely a really cool
neutral.
thing to think about and mess with for science fiction stuff.
If you want to talk,
For sure.
if you want to talk about alignments, I am chaotic good. Believe me when I say that.
I don't align myself because I'm a Chad. I do whatever I feel like, which means that the spectrum of lawful,
like,
chaotic, and good and evil are abstract concepts that do not matter to me and my crazy views on the world. But my latest character for D&D is going to be pure lawful good.
Oh boy, is it Jerry?
It's not Jerry, but he is a ranger monster hunter, so he's close enough. But he is going to be lawful good, not because I think my guy could be chaotic. He could easily be chaotic or neutral. He has the ability to be like, I'm a ranger. I live in the wilds, therefore I do not believe in law, right? The only laws I believe in, the rules of nature, and the only rules of nature are life and death. Now, this kind of bullshit, I could have him be chaotic. But it doesn't make sense for me to want to do that, because the reason I want to be lawful good is so that when my party starts doing evil bullshit shenanigans, because they will, inevitably, one will be like, oh, can I steal the gold from the shopkeeper as a good character? I, as a morally upstanding, lawful good character, can stand up and say, nay, I do not approve of this. If you continue this behavior, we will be forced to oppose you and be all noble and great and grandeur about it. The only issue is I have to follow laws and be good, which is shit. So. But I want to shit on my party members, so that's my play.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've been going for almost 2 hours. I think this is a good cutoff.
For sure.
Are we going to do this again?
Probably.
And probably time it to where we can all be together and actually,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the viewers at home, this episode was kind of just thrown together, like I said earlier, on Valentine's Day. It is almost 7 o'clock p.m. for me, and it is late for them.
Pilot.
Yeah, this will be the pilot podcast.
Yeah.
As we discussed for almost the entire time, this is going to be mostly a gaming thing, because my channel is mostly about gaming.
I mean, I could talk about other bullshit, but I don't want to. I want to do
it. Here's my idea. I want to talk next podcast. I know you're not big on Mass Effect, Largo, but I'd like to talk a lot about Mass Effect next podcast.
Oh, I'm going to talk about Mass Effect. I haven't followed. I haven't followed the drama, so I'll get all informed on it and see what's happened since. And I'll bring a big sheet of fucking paper.
I just want to talk about it because Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming out in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I am hella hyped because, yeah. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Schwab Mob, and I will catch you guys next time, be it day or night, whenever you're watching us. Have a good time, and you guys can sign off.
Unless I kill you. Unless Val
kills me.
In which case you won't see him again. It'll be me, and then on the other side of the table, it'll be me wearing his face, pretending to be him as me. And don't even get me started what I do to Largo.
Alright, Largo, if you want to do a sign-off, we can talk about your YouTube channel for a second. I decided not to earlier, while you were gone.
No, let Bob go first.
That works.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was drinking water. I don't know what I missed, I'll be honest. I'll just assume that we signed off. I don't know. I missed it. I was drinking water.
Hey, it's pilot for a reason.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna have you guys do a sign off and talk about your channel for a sec.
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright.
Largo, you go. Largo, you go. You fucking...
Largo.
Fucking...
Nah, he doesn't have to. Because his channel's mostly private content now because of
sure. No, I didn't
law.
know if he was just skipping or if he wanted me to go first or if we were playing fucking footsie under the table. Goddamn.
Be a star.
And I don't blame you, Largo. Like with the rules.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
I am Blue Hydro. I have nothing to show. I have nothing I want you to watch. I hate you all, my viewers. I will kill you all. I will fight you. I will strike again. You can't stop me. And yeah, I'll be on the next podcast probably. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any audio content for you to watch, so I don't have any.
We'll probably all be there.
Yeah. But yeah, bye guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I mean, I'm sure no one's gonna watch this. This is a 2-hour fucking video going on my channel. No one fucking watches more than like 2 minutes.
And if you are watching it, you're next.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? If you guys sat through the entire podcast, thank you. I really do appreciate the people who sit and watch the whole video, even if they don't really care for the content. Like, that's how I am. I like to skip ads for my videos, but I like to watch them all the way through. I don't usually like to skip unless I accidentally hit fucking, like, right bumper on my fucking controller and, you know, launch to the next episode. Nope, back to the previous. Skip back to where I was. That's about the only skipping I do.
I'm anarchic. I will skip ads of all types and all varieties. I use ad block on all content, even the content I like to watch. I do not pay money for any of the content I watch on YouTube or Twitch. I hate content creators, and the way that I hate having to pay for this stuff. Okay, I should just stop saying stuff to bait the audience.
We're stopping
We
now.
should stop. Yeah.
Yeah, we're stopping now. All right, bye guys, for real.